Welcome to the Inspired Living with Autoimmunity podcast, the podcast for high achievers who want to stay sharp, focused, and full of energy despite their diagnosis. With your host, National Board Certified Functional Medicine Health Coach, Julie Michelson, where Julie helps you take your power back from autoimmunity. And now here's your host, Julie Michelson.
Welcome back to the Inspired Living with Autoimmunity podcast. I'm your host, Julie Michelson. And today we're joined by Dr. Radka Toms, who is a licensed medical doctor, ophthalmologist, functional medicine practitioner, integrative nutrition health coach, author, philanthropist, and mother of two beautiful children. She's also the founder of MySugarStop, which helps women and men around the world improve their metabolic health, gut health, energy, and helps them lose their stubborn weight using the philosophy, let food be thy medicine. And she empowers people toward a self-healing journey so that they can be more energized and feel healthier and happier. Our conversation today is going to bridge that gap between ophthalmology and functional medicine. We are going to talk about everything from healing mindset to gut health and how the body is designed to heal. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Nice to be here.
I am so excited for our conversation because we were talking before I hit record. There aren't many people doing what you're doing, especially with your background. So I find it amazing and exciting because I think as functional medicine and just real health grows, we're going to have people in all different specialties bringing wisdom. But I would love to hear about your journey. How did you go from, practicing ophthalmology to functional medicine, or both, marrying the two?
Yes, thank you. No, it's really exciting, and I'm really so passionate about this. So I'm really happy to share my story because I found the healing in the pain that I went through. But before this was happening, so I was really a conventional doctor. I was treating the patient like we do that, and I'm grateful for this because we have fantastic drugs in these days. We can really heal many more diseases than we did before in the past. But I basically, as a young resident, I was working hard, didn't take care of myself, and doing night shifts, eat chocolate all the time, and not really good food. And I didn't understand the power of all these lifestyle that I was actually living until one day I got sick myself. And I developed really rosacea, which is I was inflamed all over the place. And the best thing, my friend dermatologist said, "Oh, is so bad, you will need antibiotics for 6 months minimum." And this was my wow, like really, like do I have to take antibiotics? And this what I would prescribe to my patients because rosacea is also in the eyes. And that was really when I was kind of had the mirror in front of my face, and I'm thinking, well, what do I do now? I'm doing it to other people. This was the moment when I actually realized that I have to find another way. But I didn't think that I would ever heal naturally. But in circumstances, we were living sometime in Sydney, in Australia, and I'm sitting in that beach, and I remember like yesterday, it was like 12 years ago, I read the article from Professor Lustig, sugar causes inflammation. And I'm thinking, what? Is that true? I don't know anything about it. It's something that really surprised me because I was, of course, hooked on sugar because all the things that we were eating, because patients bring the chocolate, that was quick fix. You're hungry, you have one bonbon, then you have another one, and that goes like you own the sugar roller coaster. And I'm thinking, wow, maybe that's my problem. Maybe so I try and I start with that sugar. I could not do it because it's hard. It's really
so hard. It is so, and I love that you're saying that because I feel like almost everybody I work with has
Mhm.
sugar addiction at some level, and they feel like it's a shortcoming or a weakness. And I'm like,
Mm-mm.
no, it's not you.
No,
It's the
no,
sugar. It's the
yes,
chemical response. So I love
exactly.
that you admit that, oh wise physician.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. And I was really like, I mean, I love chocolate and I have chocolate now, but it's not controlling me anymore because I did the work that is required. But it's always for people who are listening and who are addicted to sugar some way. Like you have to really have this approach, holistic approach, and really like think of like inside out healing and do that because it's many aspects. It can be emotional eating. So that's what that I would say. Use blast, thinking of eating when you're bored, lonely, anxious, stressed, or tired. And then as well, what we eat, we crave most of the time. So if you stop eating less processed food, you will naturally eat less sugar. And you will, when you have these nourishing meals, nourishing foods that has no label, basically more fruits and vegetables.
I
That's
love that. No label.
someone can be like, oh my gosh, it's too big a step. But just read the labels. Then it's sugar, first ingredient, put it back in the shelf. Fructose in any form you don't want to have in a body because it causes inflammation, cause liver, a fatty liver. It's just, there's no go there. And just really slowly and gradually adding these nourishing meals will feel better, and you will have less and less temptation to reach for these processed food and sugary foods, really. But of course, it's more complex. But this is just like if people want to realize and really start counting goodness instead of calories. Like the calorie, it's outdated already. Of course, sometimes we need to count calories. If it's a pregnant woman or when it's someone running marathon, but really counting good food that we eat and really often when we're doing this transition, because when we nourish the body with good food, we'll be less hungry, have less cravings. And this is how we build I always say it's a domino effect. You have to crack the code, find the one domino, and that goes itself.
I love
But it's
that.
really important people realize that and try to find like to do this like long term. There is no quick fix and there is no magic bullet. You have to realize that you have to really work on it. It has many aspects and it's like really like doing the puzzle. And really for me, even 2 years ago, during COVID, actually, we were living in New Jersey and all my family is in Europe. And one day I was thinking, actually, I was doing that time lounge, like the Unlock Your Sugar Solutions. So it's like 7 days. I'm talking to people how to break this habit. And I'm thinking that I'm craving some sugar. I said, actually, I should do the blast. And then I realized, actually, I was missing my family. And I'm thinking, instead of having this sugar, I actually should call them because this is what I need to do, not feeding
it was
the
emotional
body
nourishment you needed.
exactly,
Yes.
no. And so it's such a complex thing, and food companies really doesn't help because they create this bliss point and we all hooked on it, and so it's not really it's not people's fault, it's just company's fault. Because
it's intentional, sure.
yeah,
Yes,
and
we
it's
keep
very
buying
easy
more
to
and
make,
buying more and buying more.
yes, and it's very easy to make easy decision when you go to supermarket. It's very hard to make a good decision because every time we go, this is my experience. I go to the supermarket and it's like, okay, I can buy this bread, 20 ingredients. No, so only produce. And so it can be hard, but it's possible. And that's basically where the healing as well, that's how we nourish the gut microbiome, which very often with autoimmune disease, it's affected. So we have to really feed the gut, the good bacteria that will take care of us. They will create the good metabolites. Then they doing the job that it's anti-inflammatory instead of when we eat all this processed food, we're feeding the bad guys and then we're creating inflammation. So it's kind of a vicious cycle, like everything what we do.
Yes.
So yeah, but it was a big rabbit hole here. I go back to my rosacea. So
yes.
I was reading this article and then basically that's where I started with the sugar. And in that time I was working as an ophthalmologist, and I've seen a lot of diabetic patients. And of course we have the first and the early diabetes patients up to the really on blind people from diabetes, because that's what happens with the complication. People can go blind. And every single time I see these patients, it's really sad to see. And the early diabetic patients are the quickest appointment, because they come and we say, oh, you don't have diabetes in the eye yet. See you in 1 year. And I'm thinking,
you're waiting for it to
I can't
happen.
do this. I can't. I have to tell them that this is the time where they are in a crossroad. They either do something about it. They can, we know now that we can even put diabetes into the type 2 diabetes into remission. And so, but this was we talking 10 years ago. And I'm thinking I have to do something more for these people. And because I was living my healing journey, it just fit in a place, because I was able to heal my rosacea completely. It took me maybe 8 months, because I did a lot of things. First of all, I was working on a diet. I was really trying to up-level my gut microbiome, because that was the research when it was booming. Like, we have to really, like, I said, what is gut microbiome? That was 10 years
the
ago.
beginning of the conversation.
Yes. So now it's like, there's no discussion. This is what we have to do.
Yeah.
And learning about leaky gut. So I at that time, there was no testing. So I just really was doing my best, doing the fasting. Now we know the fasting, can really put on the autophagy. So, and that can help as well to really heal. And but so I was doing well with this, but then it was like I was not healed completely. And then actually I really went deep, and I did family constellation, which is and that was basically the breakthrough for me, because I realized that I have to let the body heal itself, that I cannot tell the body what to do. It's like listen to your heart, follow your gut, and use your brain, because we always think that the brain is the everything from A to Z, but it's actually, we can tap into intuition, and it's the power. And when you can do that, I know we don't talk about it and too much, and it's kind of, but it's now back in science that we have this power. So
yes.
So that was for me to surrender, like not only believe, but really let the body do the work, was the biggest piece, because I was resisting so much. My doctor ego was not allowing me to go that way, but it's clear to me now. And I see with people, when they really believe themselves to do the work, first of all, it can stop them in the beginning, because they can't see that they can actually heal. And it's hard. I mean, I could not see either. But with visualization, all these techniques, when you can imagine, you can do that. It's only a question of time when you do the steps and you really walk the line, and then you will achieve the results that you wish for. Because I mean, it's not easy to either heal. Sometimes we can't heal the autoimmune disease, but we can really manage it, that we feel better.
Yes.
So I have rosacea forever, because that's my genetic predisposition, but I don't have it because I live a lifestyle that switching off something genes that they don't do the genetic expression. I can influence that. That's the epigenetic science that we know we can do that. So really, we can do so much, but I think that the mind is really important as well. And that's back to my ophthalmology practice, when I really connect the dots, that I start giving people food to eat, list food or not to eat. What can you imagine? Like, this is ridiculous. How much? Because we have 10 minutes appointment. You don't have more, 12. Yeah, so you do the important stuff that you have to do. But then I just started giving, I think I'm not helping anyone. So that's why I opened the company called MySugarStop, and start really educating people. And not only because knowledge is power, so we have to know all this stuff, but as well give them support.
Yes.
And really coach, you are coaching, right?
Yes.
People are coaching. So how important is this, how they can really achieve big things if they trust you, and they just following,
and trust themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Trust themselves. Exactly. So that was the first patient that I actually helped I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm doing this because like because not everybody's open to this work. But he came back, I gave him just this list with food to eat and not to eat. And he was there with his wife and they made joint decisions. So they did it together and they joined the gym and they came back in 6 months and he lost weight. His diabetes improved. Her blood pressure was, we could reduce the medication. And I just said, what did you do? It's like, you're amazing. So, well, I did what you told me last time. It's like, okay, I cannot do this. So basically that was the start point when all these, then I start studying functional medicine, become a health coach and doing Ayurveda courses and stuff like that. It's really something that I believe so much, and we don't have enough of this. And we know that we cannot cure everything, but we can change so much, and we can really improve overall health with all these powerful lifestyle and nutrition. So yes, it's amazing, and your podcast is wonderful. Last time you were talking about Dr. Autmata about the
I love her.
Yes, so
Yes.
I'm listening.
Yeah.
It's like, yes, it's amazing.
I know. Yes. Well, and that's what I love. And I think that's the conversation we want to change globally is it doesn't matter, if it's diabetes, if it's improving fertility, if it's other autoimmune or type 2 diabetes, or fill in the blank. This approach works, like you said, with the epigenetics. And I love how you said, because sometimes I get hung up on, do I say I don't identify with rheumatoid arthritis anymore? So to me, it doesn't matter, but I try to be careful about like, I have it, but I don't have symptoms, because it's there. I know I can get symptomatic again. And so, oh my gosh, there's so many pieces of your story I want to follow up on. First of all, question, it doesn't really matter, just mere curiosity. So I know other people are wondering too. Did you take the antibiotics or did you just say, no, I'm not doing that for 6 months?
Actually, I was lucky because I was feeding my daughter, so I didn't took it.
Oh,
so thanks to breastfeeding.
So beautiful. Yes.
Thanks to breastfeeding, I basically avoided. And then I just, because we were moving around the world and I just didn't follow up with the doctors. And then I found this, so I didn't take antibiotics. Sometimes, but I just want to tell people that sometimes it's absolutely necessary.
Yes.
Like we have conditions that we must take antibiotics. If I didn't heal, I would need to take, and I have people that I help with rosacea, and sometimes they have to take antibiotics. They have to take things for parasites. So, but like we talking about like what you do as a first thing, because that changed so much.
And I love that you clarified that. I say that all the time. People come to me and they'll be like, I want to get off my meds like you did. And I'm like, wait, back it up.
No.
It doesn't, this is not an either or.
No.
This is, sometimes you need the medications and doing the lifestyle change allows them to work better. And so, it's really, I always like to clarify too, that I'm not bashing the medications and the prescriptions. Like you said, we're at this amazing time where we have treatments for things that we didn't used to. And so I love that you admitted, like, oh, it was a struggle. It's not like you read, oh, sugar causes inflammation and you just stopped eating sugar. And I want to highlight for listeners, I say this all the time. It's almost, we could practice together. I'm so excited. I have so many similar approaches, and people love to focus on, tell me what to avoid. Like, what do I need? And I'm always the same. You've got to add in first. It's not just about avoiding inflammatory foods. It's about nourishing your body so it can heal.
Yes.
And so I want to highlight that for listeners, and also some of the other brilliance that you shared with this, you're going to crave what you're eating. And so, what a great hack for if you're adding in those nutrient dense foods doesn't mean you're not going to have sugar cravings ever. It just means that it's going to be easier and it'll be a gentler experience.
Yeah, we will never, like, we are basically, our genetic is we crave sweets, but the cravings never go away. We just manage them better, and we will appreciate how the body feels. And everybody tells me this when they do this transformative work. They don't choose the cake purposely, and they don't feel deprived because they prefer how the body feels without the cake.
Yes, I have a client who reminds me, we say things in passing and I don't always listen to myself because I'm talking all day with clients. And I have one client who always reminds me of, she quotes me all the time with, nothing tastes as good as feeling well feels. And it's that simple once you start to make the change. That's not enough in the beginning when you don't know, when you're still not feeling well. But once you do feel the physical freedom, the emotional freedom, the symptomatic freedom, all the things. And the other thing I want to highlight is it's a journey. This isn't, I stopped eating sugar and I worked on my gut, and 3 weeks later I was free of rosacea, right? Like this is
health is the
time.
journey. Health is journey, is not this destination for sure. And you always discover something new, and that's the beauty of it. Like, now I want to have more muscles, because then when we age, I don't want to end up as sarcopenia, because how it goes. So it's like you always find something that you can work on and really improve. And you said something about, I forgot now, but you were talking about something before I want to mention as well. But I just forgot now. Anyway,
it's okay.
Maybe
if it pops back up. Yeah. So I love that. You also, so many good things. We tend to, and it's always a really great starting point. We focus on what are the things we can do, right? What are, is it the food, the movement, the pieces? But you mentioned that emotional, energetic, spiritual piece. And I again, your process is so aligned with mine. I know when I was first coaching, it was like about the things, it was the food, and it was all the things that I had done, and we would work on mindset at some point. And then I realized this is silly. If we do that in the beginning, the results are so much faster. So I wanted to highlight, we're talking about sugar, we're talking about inflammation, we're talking about lifestyle. But in case anybody, if your ears didn't perk up or you didn't get goosebumps when you heard Dr. Radka say, that we can imagine what it's like to be well, we can feel it, get to a place where we do these visualizations and really feel it. You're teaching your body. You're teaching your cells, and that's what you're creating your reality. Now, if you're sitting on the couch eating cake every day, imagining you feel well, it may not work.
That doesn't work. No, that doesn't work. It's basically in the beginning is a little bit, you have to invest time. You have to, it is a little bit of discipline in the beginning, but if you want to learn piano, you have to as well practice, right? If you want to learn skiing, you have to be on the ski. So this is, I would think it's very similar. You have to really invest time in yourself, because it's self-care. Like, we're going to hairdresser, it's all outside, but this, when we really then get this reward, like this, that's something that we want to be, and that's we don't need anymore the outside sources telling us. We just know what we have to do, and that sometimes it's really difficult in the beginning, and we need support. We need, like, this is what we're doing basically with people. But I want to say that one client told me in this Facebook group, she was kind of thinking back, and she said, what, in the beginning it was chore, but now it's my routine. And this was like, this is where we want to see things. It's not something that we like with children now. I want them to read every evening before they go to sleep, not as a chore, but it's something that they look forward to, and right, it's a similar thing.
Yes.
So I think this is very powerful. And as well, really just think of healing from inside out. It always works because people then go really deep instead of just, I want to lose weight, I want to get rid of inflammation, because this is not sustainable. They will not keep the motivation there. They will just, I don't mind. I just take a pill after 3 months. But if you have this, if you approach this from a deeper place, like you want longevity, you want to be there healthy in the years to come, and really they always succeed because they will do the work. And when you have this feeling, as you're describing, that you feel good in your body, that this is it, then you just
priceless.
Then you just go.
It's priceless. And thank you for being so open and honest and vulnerable about, like, this is what you do, for a living, right? You've created this amazing program, you support people all the time, and you know what? You have sugar cravings sometimes, and you need to check in and see what's going on. We all, I tease, like, people think I was born, eating the way I eat, and I'm like, no. And I'm just as human as the rest of us, So I love that you said that. I want to circle back to, because it's brilliant, and I'm going to borrow it. I will credit you every time. I love BLAST. I love this check-in of, why am I craving sugar? Or sometimes it's, why am I hungry? It depends on kind of what your pattern is. And so repeat that for us again. It'll be in the show notes, but repeat it again, because it's so brilliant.
Yeah. So I actually tell people 2 things. So it's BLAST and 3 W's. So the BLAST is you eating because you're bored, lonely, anxious, stressed, or tired. And the 3 W's is that you always find a trigger because you're asking yourself what you eat, when you eat, and why you eat. So that's the 3 W's. That's basically how people find out that maybe their trigger is in the work, when their coworkers has donut and coffee at 4 p.m. Or maybe it's a husband at home when wife is cooking the dinner and he's eating chips. Or maybe it's, it can be so many. I have one client, and she always, when she drove home from work, she stopped in a coffee shop and she bought coffee and zucchini bread. And only way how we can stop this of happening is that she has to take a different route home. Sometimes you have to be so creative. Otherwise, it's like you can never win.
Yeah. Well, and like you mentioned before, she doesn't have to take a different route for the rest of her life.
No.
Pretty soon she's going to drive by that coffee shop, and it's not even going to call to her. But I love the just intention. And it takes intention. It really does.
Yes.
For me, I'll admit it. I used to be the, like, ice cream or chocolate pudding, neither of which I can eat because I can't do dairy anymore. But I couldn't then. I just didn't know it. But when my kids went to bed, it was like my reward for myself. And so I talk to people all the time about it's not about executing perfectly. And so I knew I had a habit of, now I don't eat anywhere close to bedtime. But back then, I traded the ice cream. People are going to be like, really? But yeah, really, for a half an avocado, right? So I didn't change the whole, I couldn't avoid going to bed, and I couldn't avoid putting my kids to bed, or didn't want to. But so I changed it that way first. So sometimes it's a gentle shift of just replacing until you get to a place where you just change the habit.
Yeah, and I have actually created method, so I can share for people so they can do it themselves. So it's DRRN, which is define, replace, rebalance, and nourish. And it's basically, I create as well like a picture that you go uphill because sometimes it feels like you go uphill. And you have all these, and you create foundation, and then you build on it. And so define is, you have to find your trigger. You have to find, you have to really do audit, like what you eat, what you like, what your life is, how your relationships are, how you stress, what is your sleep. So all the aspects of, because it's all connected. If people have not enough sleep, they will have cravings in the morning, because we know how it has effect on insulin resistance. And the same
I just
way,
wrote an article on this morning,
yes, it's
literally
like,
on sleep and yeah.
yes, I have one client and she said, I don't have time to do the food. What I can do now? I said, you know what? So we went through all this and she said, my sleep is horrible. I sleep only 5 hours. I go too late. We work on the sleep first, and she lost so much pounds already only because we fixed her sleep. So yeah, and if people waking up at 1 till 2, 1 till 3, it's the liver calling, eating too much, too late. So that's the define. So you find all the triggers, and you kind of that's where you define where you have to work on. And replace is not about taking away. It's about, okay, I switch. My husband, for example, during COVID, he saw so many successful stories. I said, I have to do the program as well. So he was the ice cream man. So yeah, sure. So for his, he switched the ice cream for yogurt with so Greek fed yogurt with berries and with some nuts, and that was his thing. And he was able to do the work and be successful. And I remember when he did, I think in 6 months since he started, he went for the bike ride in the morning. He came back and he told me, you know what? This is the first time in my life I did a bike ride without breakfast, because he created his metabolic flexibility. So he was able to. So I said, wow, that's wonderful.
And how amazing. I have to commend you, because I can say from firsthand experience that living with a health coach is not always easy. And my partner is a functional medicine physician, so he definitely knows where I'm coming from, but it's still, so I have to just commend you on allowing him to come to it on his own, which is the only way we're successful.
No, pushing doesn't work. Yeah.
No, it
More
doesn't.
Pulling, like inspiring, empowering, that works, but pushing, no, never.
Yes. So, and I love that you said, because again, we're talking, we started talking about sugar, but we're talking about lifestyle.
Yes.
And I think that's such a great tip for the audience to, if you're listening and some of this sounds so overwhelming, like, oh my gosh, I could never do that. Take that inventory. It's not just your food. Look at your sleep, look at your stress, look at your relationships, look at your movement, and then because they're all going to move the needle and you need all of them eventually. So find what can you do? That was the question you asked your client, right? What can you do? What's the
exactly
and build that creates that momentum.
Absolutely. And I always say, start with one thing.
Yes.
One thing, because if you catch 2 rabbits, you will not catch either one. And so the one thing, the domino effect is always like, I always say, no, just baby step. And when you master that, we do another baby step. It can be just starting drinking more water, like doing little things. And this is magical, because I believe that big change starts small. And like, if people have this, this ambitious plan for themselves, they will work. This is not sustainable. We have to start slowly and really gradually. And this is then the magic point. It's there somewhere on the way, and it will be feeling so good. And that, I didn't finish. So that's the define. And replace is when we exchanging. When my husband.
Yep. My avocado, his yogurt.
Yes, exactly. And not only that, you basically focusing more on your sleep and starting doing the fasting and rebalancing. We're really focusing on the gut microbiome. So really I always feel, I have 1 month when I really didn't eat well. I felt I have to eat. It's like I couldn't tap to my intuition that well, because when you inflame, when you eat from this processed food, you get this feeling that you don't feel your body at all.
Yeah.
So actually, Mark Hyman says wheat, seed, and feed. So we have to take all the, crap stuff away from our diet and from our life. And then we will seed. We take all the probiotics, bacteria, either supplement or just really probiotic food. And then we have to feed them with the fiber. So that's something that people always forget. Like, they take probiotics, but they don't take the vegetables. Like, they will not stay there. They will just go in
Right.
and
They're
out.
going through.
Yeah. And the
Yes.
last phase is when we all that we connect the dots, and really this is the fine tuning, when people realize like they can't have milk. Sometimes we do elimination diet, which is like really can be breakthrough for so many people.
Oh, I
And
think
they
it's
actually
powerful.
eliminate all other stuff they thought never can do.
That was me. Even back when I was still having the ice cream, I was off of gluten. I was actually grain-free already. And I kept saying, oh, thank goodness I could have dairy. Well, I had never taken it out, so I didn't know how much better I could feel. Now I know.
Yes, that's yeah. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's the journey. We have to all find out what is. That's why I always, people ask me, so what do you follow? I said, well, I'm everything. I'm paleo. Monday I'm paleo. Tuesday I'm vegan. Wednesday I'm a vegan, because
Then I'm
it's like
fasting. Then
I have a Radka diet. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we have to find what really works for us. And when you have this, when you tap to the wisdom of the body, when you feel your body well, then you have guidance forever. It's like we don't need anymore, outsource looking for outside. We have this. It's hard to explain, but it's there.
Heard it from the physician, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I know I want to just share with listeners. I know you have this incredible, you were talking about how support can be so important. And I know that you have a Facebook group that people can join, the Dr. Radka support.
Yes.
And they can learn from you and get supported in the group. And what an amazing gift to the universe that is.
Thank you.
So amazing. So here's the question that throws a lot of my guests, because can be tricky, but it's also an opportunity. What is one step that listeners can take starting today to start to improve their health?
I think I would go to the one thing, because we know that is the most powerful. We use it in functional medicine, the SMART goals. And either it can be visualization, so they visualize like themselves in the future version, or it can be they close their eyes and they're like, what is the one thing? And when they find the one thing, I would just suggest just do it. Just try to do it for one day, half day, just that moment. Just try to really commit to the one thing, because when you will, for example, for some can be drinking more water, because we know that many of us are dehydrated.
Yes.
And that's why it's like very hard to say what is the one thing for all of us, because we will have different story. And so that's what I would say, that trying to find what is your one thing that you start your journey today.
So, and I'm going to back it up, because your one thing was to visualize, to find the one thing, and then execute that one thing. So I love it. That's why I said it's kind of a tricky question. But you look at how beautifully you handled that. You still managed to individualize it for everybody. So that's amazing. So amazing. Where, for those that listen on the go, where's the best place for them to find you? And it might be the Facebook group I just mentioned. I'm not sure.
Yes.
But
So either is the Facebook group, or you go to my website, MySugarStop.com, or in Instagram, it's under drradka.toms, or Facebook, my name as well, Radka Toms. But the Facebook group, it's called Dr. Radka Support. But or Instagram, or MySugarStop.com. That is everything.
She's all over, ladies and gentlemen. She is everywhere.
No, I'm not on TikTok. Never will be.
Me either. Me either. So, oh my gosh, Radka, thank you so much. This was incredible. You gave so much gold to listeners. Like, if they just put this on loop and address things piece by piece, they are, really on their way to healing. So I so appreciate you giving us your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I enjoyed it. Thank you.
And for everyone listening, remember you can get the show notes and transcripts by visiting inspiredliving.show. I hope you had a great time and enjoyed this episode as much as I did. I'll see you next week.
Thank you for listening to Julie Michelson's Inspired Living with Autoimmunity. Did you enjoy this episode? Please like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. If you'd like to get a transcript of this and every other episode, just head on over to inspiredliving.show or click on the link in this episode's description. There, you can also find everything we discussed in this episode, including links and information about our guest. You can even send in your questions to be answered by Julie in a future episode. That's inspiredliving.show. Until next time, this is Julie Michelson's Inspired Living with Autoimmunity podcast, helping you take your power back.